So these are the new Nothing Headphone 1, and it's the first pair of overhead headphones from Nothing. They make earbuds already, so in here, and also cool smartphones that look quirky, look different. In fact, there's a new Nothing Phone 3, which I'm also currently reviewing. It's actually here at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to show that just yet, but I'm reviewing that at the moment. It's got its own quirks to it as well, which is kind of cool. But this video is about this pair of headphones that we've got here. And this is available in black and also white, this being the black ones. And also, the thing I like about the black ones is it makes this on the transparency, it makes it stand out a bit more and looks a bit like a cassette if you look at it like a cassette or cassette player. It looks pretty cool. And it's got that red dot on there like you always do with Nothing, and it's got Nothing Headphone written on there as well, which is kind of cool. The whole point of this is you can see the inner workings of what the headphone's about. Let's talk more about the design because it's kind of quirky, as you can already see already. It's got some cool buttons on there, which I kind of like. It's got tab, a roller, and a button as well. So for example, straight away, we have this button that's on the pad, and that's used to activate different apps that you might be using on your phone that's compatible. So for example, by default, this will operate things like your assistant on your Android phone or iOS device. Or you can set it to work if you're Nothing phone, so you can do things like take notes and put it in the essential area, that kind of stuff. So you can set that. So it's very functional, very useful. And then this ear cup here is surrounded by this metallic sort of finish in here, which feels a bit anodized, I'm not so sure. And the reason why I thought that is because I've had this for a bit now, and so far there are some scratches that you will see that stands out a bit more on this black version. So that's something to bear in mind. So if you go for the white, it might not stand out as much, but on this one, you can start to see the edges where the corners are. It starts to pick up scratches and so on. But it kind of adds character to it. It makes it look like it's actually been used and not something that's just been sat on the shelf, not been used at all. And then you got the headband as well, which is nice and comfortable. It's got a nice level of tension to it, so it doesn't feel too tight on your head. It feels nice and comfortable. It's got a cushion right at the bottom area as well. And you can extend it if you wish to do so. One thing I find is this extension is not as smooth as I want it to be. Well, let me reword that. It's smooth, but when you have it on your head, it's not as easy to extend or retract or whatever. So that's something to bear in mind as well. That's something I found using this so far. You can rotate the ear cups, so you can have it like that, so it's fully flat. So that way, if you have it on your neck, like so, it just sits nice and comfortable on your neck. It also means that when you place it in its case, it means it's fully flat, and that way you have a nice thin profile of a case that's not bulky and taking up space in your bag. If we look on the right ear cup, this is where a lot take place. So we look on the top, we already mentioned that button that's placed just there. And then if we look at the bottom here, we have a USB-C ports for charging, and also audio is available through that ports as well. Then we have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Again, you can use that to attach it to devices that's compatible. And there's a switch there for on and off. You got microphone, there's 4 microphones, I believe. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And then if you look to the side of it, we have a roller, so you can use that to control your volume, so you can roll it up and down to control volume. I really like that. It gives you a nice sound sort of feedback as well when you're rolling it in your ears, and it's a really nice satisfying sound. And then you got the tab, which allows you to press up and down, but when you're wearing it, it's forwards and backwards, so you can use that to skip track. The rollers for volume, play, pause as well. And then if we look on the inside, so discreet. I'm gonna have to zoom in and show that separately. But there you have a Bluetooth pairing button. At first, I didn't know that it was there. I was trying to press all sorts of buttons on there to pair this with another device. But then I figured it out that it was actually located there. And then we got the earpads that are really nice and comfortable. It's got the soft finishing to it. So this is a PU material, I believe. So it's not going to irritate your skin, which is good. It's got memory foam core. So again, just adding to that level of comfort. So if you wear it for a long period of time, it's good as well. And add that to the tension. It just means this works really well for your noise cancellation features. So that way you don't get too much leaks. Although this does have sensors for putting it on and off, taking on and off your head. So on head detection. But also it means that regardless of how you're wearing this, it's going to protect the noise and sound leak. So when it comes to noise cancellation, you're protected in that way. It doesn't matter if you're tilting it or wearing it that way or whatever way you're wearing it, it's going to protect that level of noise cancellation. So in terms of design, I think it looks really cool. I think it's different. It's something that so far people have been sliding in my DMs speaking about how this is actually pretty cool. And it feels durable so far. If there's any durability issues, it will be that it scratches up over time as well. So on the edges especially, it starts to scratch up. And honestly, I think it looks good generally in terms of design. But let's get to the core of all the specifications though, because this is in collaboration with Kef Audio, which means the sound quality is actually really good. But Is it all that good though for £299? So for the driver, we have 40mm dynamic drivers. It has high linearity suspension, which basically is used to minimize distortion. You get consistent sound quality across volume ranges as well by controlling the diaphragm motion and also maintaining the stable magnetic field symmetry as well. So all in all, just means you don't get that distortion that you might get on traditional systems. And this has 8.9mm PU surround that moves air freely in there. So we also have a medial plated diaphragm as well. So it includes the rim and the dome. So again, just adds rigidity so you get clear highs and powerful bass in there overall. For noise cancellation, it has hybrid active noise cancellation, which has dual feed forward and feedback microphones in there, which is cool. It uses that to scan your surroundings every 600 milliseconds, which is insane. It has dedicated wear detection system for noise leaks that I said earlier. And you also get transparency mode as well. So transparency mode for me is something that I use quite often when it comes to commuting. So when I go on the tube or public transport, or I'm just on the street, just to make sure that I'm still aware of what's going around me. That's something that I use quite often. For the sound quality, you have adaptive bass enhancements, which basically just deepens the low frequencies. This is something you have to be mindful of using because sometimes it's not the best of thing to use if it already has good level of bass. So if it doesn't, then turn it on and it adds that deeper, lower frequency. One thing I noticed that when using it is when I wear this on top of when I'm wearing this and using it and I kind of just like lean against the window on a flight, for example, the bass start to feel like overpowering. You can hear the vibrations sounding through the old earpiece, sorry, the ear cup. So that's something to bear in mind as well. So only use it when you feel like you actually need it with the music genre that you're listening to. Of course, there's spatial audio as well. So 3D soundstage. One thing I use spatial audio for, especially is for watching movies, but when listening to music, is not something I generally use anyway. I don't think it should be made for listening to music, in my own opinion. But when it comes to watching movies where something needs to be more immersive, that is really good. When it comes to gaming, this is good as well. It's got low latency mode, which means you get less latency when you can hear the footsteps and it matches up with what you're wearing and what you're hearing and what you can actually see as you're gaming. So that's really good for gamers as well. In terms of codecs, we have LDAC. We have SBC, we have AAC as well, which all together affects the battery life in terms of what you're using it for. But back to the sound quality though. This is tuned and tested by Kef Audio. And if you know anything about Kef Audio, they are fantastic. It's something I've used before. I've been to their factory. I've seen how they do things. I've listened to different sound systems that they produce. And honestly, it shines through on this pair. And I think there couldn't have been a better pairing than Kef Audio for Nothing Headphone in terms of the design language, in terms of the way they function, the features, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's just a match made in heaven and it just marries together very well. So you hear that come through in the sound quality, which is fantastic. Elsewhere, we have 4 microphones, which uses AI clarity as well. So when it comes to the voice technology, it uses AI to suppress background noises when it comes to phone calls, so people won't be hearing everything else that's going on in the background. They can hear you clearly, and you can hear them clearly as well. This is something that I've experienced, so when it comes to phone call, these work really well. This is also certified for high-res wireless, so you're talking 24 bits, 96 kilohertz, so it works really well there. In terms of the battery life, it depends what codec you're using. So if you're using AAC, you're talking 80 hours with active noise cancellation off, and 35 hours with active noise cancellation on, and you have LDAC. So that will give you 54 hours with noise cancellation off and 30 hours with noise cancellation on. Regardless of which one you go for, I think you still get a good level of battery life on here, which honestly, for a whole flight, you don't have to worry about anything. And you can quickly charge this up as well. 5 minutes charge will give you just over 2 hours of playback time. So again, if you really need to top it up, it's no issue at all. Elsewhere, this is IP52 rated for water and dust resistance. So if you're going to be using it for exercising, you don't have to worry about anything. Although with the ear cups and the leather finishing, the PU leather finishing, this will get your ears sweating very quickly, especially in hotter climates. So when I've worn this on holiday, I'm able to just take it off every now and then just to wipe my ears. So again, something to bear in mind. This weighs just 329 grams and it has 1040 milliamp hour battery, which adds a bit of weight to the general feel of it on top of your head. It supports Google Fast Pair and Microsoft One as well. And this will cost you £299. You also get dual connectivity, so you can connect this to 2 devices at the same time. It means 1 minute you can be making phone calls on one, the next minute you can be switching back effortlessly, seamlessly back to listening to audio. In terms of EQ, there are presets available. There's also the ability to use that 8-band EQ setting, so you can adjust it the way that you want to adjust it if you understand what's going on. Although the app does teach you, will give you some notes about things to bear in mind in terms of tweaking it, what each band would mean as you start to slide it up and down. Next, onto the Nothing X app, which allows you to control different things and settings and so on. It's very straightforward to use, and I like the interface actually. It's very, very clean. it looks really cool. So on the app, you get the pair of headphones themselves, tells you the battery life. So right now I have 65% left in terms of battery life. And straight away you have settings for noise cancellation. So you can have noise cancellation, transparency, or you can have it off completely. So I tend to flip between this using the buttons on the actual headphone themselves, or you can go in the app and do that if you want to. And then you got spatial audio, so you got head tracking, you got fixed, and you got off as well. I tend to have it on fixed. The only time I have it on head tracking is when I'm watching a movie that supports that kind of experience, then it works really well. If you tap the 3 dots on the corner there, it tells you a bit more about it. So you got head tracking, you got fixed, and you got off as well. So it tells you exactly what to experience, and you can save your preference once you've selected what you want it to be, and off you go. Underneath that, you have that bass enhancement feature. And like I said, use that when you think it's worth using. If it's not, just turn it off. Otherwise, it might affect the sound quality itself. And then you got equalizer there. So you can have presets like balanced, more bass, voice, more treble, or you can go custom and you can start to mess around with some of these features here. Nice and simple way of doing things. Or if you prefer, you can go to advanced, which is where you can start to play with that 8 band EQ. So you can move things around if you understand what you're doing. But you can also save it as different custom presets as well once you've selected what you want. But I tend to just stick to simple and just stick to more bass. Nice and straightforward, no issues at all. Then you can go to your control settings. So at default, I just leave everything as default. So you got things like single press with a button, gives you voice assistant, press and hold it for no action at the moment, but you can tap that to then activate different things. So for example, you can have it as spatial audio settings if you want to, which is actually something I'm going to set it to now, leave it as that. And then we go past to the roller. So you got single press for play pause, press and hold for noise control, roll for volume. If you tap that, it just takes the volume only, press and hold, gives you more option as you can see there. And then if you go back to single press, only play, pause will be available. Go down to the paddle function. This allows you to go forward and skip and stuff like that. And also scrub your music depending on which platform you're using. So bear that in mind. And then you got also paddle left and hold allows you to scrub. Fast forward and rewind, for example. You can hang up calls, decline incoming calls as well. So plenty of options there. Not too much, not overwhelming. I think that's just spot on. And then if you go to device settings, you got more options for low lag mode. This would be useful for gaming. So when you start gaming, stick into that. And then you got high quality audio for LDAC. You can select that on as well. And over here, detection, make sure you select that on. And also dual connectivity, you can go there and see my 2 devices that are connected. So my iPhone and my S25 Ultra. And one of these will be replaced by the new Nothing Phone 3 very soon. And you also have to find my headphones in case you lose it. So that's pretty much it for the app. Very simple, very straightforward. It's not overwhelming to use. And in terms of the device itself, the design looks really cool. I think they've nailed it in terms of being different, having something that's fun, inspiring as well. I think they've done a really good job here. I like this color as well. I think it looks great. Some quirks here and there that I didn't get on with, but I think the positives mainly outweighs all the negatives that I've spoken about so far in this video. In terms of sound quality, it sounds absolutely fantastic. It doesn't matter what music genre you're listening to. There's also EQ settings to tweak things as you want, but careful audio, tuning and settings on here just sounds absolutely amazing. I think for £299, this is an absolute steal. I think they've done a great job at pricing it right as well and giving you something for your money that's worth actually wearing every day and enjoying the experience as well. And it looks great. You can style it up as you want. And yeah, I think at the moment, everyone loves all this quirky stuff at the moment, like VHS recordings coming back and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to have that sort of stuff on here and it looks really cool, if I haven't said that many times already. But over to you. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Are they worth the price tag to you? Let me know in the comments as well. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.